Yes.
Howdy, Shell.
Yes.
Let's all stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Approval of the minutes. You received a correction to the minutes that were presented earlier. The correction went out early this morning, I believe, or yesterday afternoon. And any additions or corrections to the corrected minutes? If not, they will stand approved as corrected. Approval of the current financial report. You received a copy of that. Any questions or comments, or a motion to approve?
So move.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to approve the current financial report from the auditor's office. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Wright, Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Howdy, Shell.
Yes.
Approval of the agenda. At this particular time, I have nothing to add or subtract. No one indicated a need for an executive session, so there it is.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion by Mr. Schmidt to approve the agenda as presented. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Howdy, Shell.
Yes.
Public hearings. We have nothing scheduled for this evening. Anyone wishing to address council at this time may do so. If there is no one, that's fine. We do have a special presentation at basically the request of the administration. We talked with the fire chiefs of the Township Fire and Rescue and the current fire chief, Chief Thompson, the other morning at our administrative session, and they have some proposal I think is worth listening to. But if anyone wishes to address council before they make their presentation, I would ask them to come forward immediately and state whatever the case may be. If none, gentlemen, I'll turn it over to you. And don't mean to put you on the hot seat, but you had some very interesting information the other morning.
13.
Well, good evening. Where do I want to start? So, like President Burkett said, yesterday we spoke with the city administration on an idea which on going to an ALS engine company. So where this began was this year we changed our response plan with Greenville Rescue. We're doing a lot more first responder calls when they have their units tied up, which we've always done. But the new thing that we've been doing, we go to an awful lot of cardiac arrests with them now. We don't go to every cardiac arrest that they go on, but a sufficient number. So to give you an idea, to date, we've done 61 EMS calls with Greenville Rescue. That's 3 times the number that we did last year. We're expecting that number to increase next year. So the problem or the issues that we're facing is, if you're not aware, all our personnel are EMTs or basic life support. That's the requirement. However, a third of our personnel are paramedic certified, which is advanced life support. So some of the stuff that's come back from our personnel is that we're dispatching them to first respond with, and we have paramedics, but we're a basic life support rig. So if rescue's tied up and we're waiting on a medic coming from mutual aid, it could be 10 or 15 minutes. So these personnel have the skills and the knowledge to conduct ALS care, but we haven't given them the equipment to do so. So that started the conversation. We've been talking about this, myself, Chief Phillips, and our staff over the last few months on this possibility of going to an ALS engine company, how much it would cost to outfit one, and that's what we're presenting to you today. So that spreadsheet that I've given you is our startup cost. So coming out of the operating budget, our current budget, we have enough funds that we do not require a supplemental appropriation request so that we can outfit a fully equipped crisis bag. It would be identical to Greenville Rescue's. Our personnel are familiar with theirs. And the same thing, if they happen to get their second, they would be familiar with ours. So there's the cost for that crisis bag, a portable suction. We have some other fees that we know we're going to inquire, like going to the ALS drug bag fees for the Greater Miami Valley EMS Council. And we're going to have to get some software program because we're going to have to start doing EMS reports. So those costs have been accounted for. We've also received a $1,200 EMS grant from the state of Ohio. We must utilize that or spend funds by the end of this year to get reimbursed $1,200, which is the amount of the grant. So when you take all that into account, that part of this startup is $3,637, which is not, you'll see where I'm going. So the big cost is the next part, which we need a 12-lead heart monitor. So attached to this is the quote that we got. This is the monitor that we're requesting through Stryker or Physio Control. The LifePak 15, like I said, it is a 12-lead capability to all the bells and whistles that come with that. So the cost for that monitor is over $27,000. So we've looked at refurbished ones, we've looked at new ones. Going through Stryker, the manufacturer itself, what became appealing was the fact that they said that they would give us 0% interest for 3 years, so we can break this down into 3 payments over the next 3 years, and it would come out of the CIP fund. So, so I guess we're here. So the administration, I believe we have the support of the administration yesterday. We're here tonight asking council's support, and so asking. I suppose we're asking. I'm asking also for for legislation for the next council meeting to allow us the fire department to continue on this venture and go ahead and do the contract with Stryker to get the monitor with the 3-year 0% interest. Is there any questions from either one of us?
For council's information, I indicated to Chief or them both the other day at our meeting that I think that rather than assigning this to a safety committee and have them go through all the motions and report to them and then come back and report to council, that something that we could do pretty much as a committee of the whole, well, not a committee of the whole, but as a council right now versus having to divide it up and spend some more time. And there's one, to utilize that one grant, it has to be done before you say the end of the year?
Yes, sir.
That's the one grant, but then the next item, the startup costs for the Stryker LifePak thing would start in next year's appropriations or out of the CIP fund.
Correct. I would, yeah, that'd be my okay. By the time, yeah, we can hold off and order that in January,
Okay.
which would be the 2020 year for the CIP.
Yeah.
And then we'd have, like I said, 20, 21, 22, the 3 payments out of the CIP fund.
Is that Stryker just about the same as what Greenville Township has? Identical.
Identical monitor.
Okay. How many paramedics did you say you had?
We have 6.
Now, how many's on each shift, or they got them split up, or are they all on one shift?
We have not split, this came up at the administrative meeting. The incoming law director asked a question yesterday if we could guarantee ALS care every day, and we cannot. Even if I move personnel, I do have a shift right now that is stacked with the number of paramedics they have. Even if I move them and even it out, which we may do, there's no guarantee that they would both be on duty. If they both scheduled their time off, they would be on vacation. We'd be a BLS unit that day. More times than not, we will be able to provide ALS care.
Any of the basic EMTs, do they want to take a paramedics class to upgrade since we're going to ALS?
Not to my knowledge. We have one right now that's completing the paramedic program. He'll be done here in the next couple months. He's doing his clinicals and all that good stuff. The venture that he started out a year ago. He's the second one in the last 2 years to didn't have that desire to become a paramedic on their own. To right now, I don't know of any more of my staff that has voluntarily said, I'm going to paramedic school anytime soon. Now, I will say, something else to keep in mind goes direct with what you're talking about. We're looking at a massive, not a massive, but here in the next 4 years or so, we're going to have several individuals, especially in our officer ranks, eligible for retirement. From our last several hiring processes, most of these young people that are coming in now, testing for positions not only for us, but any fire department in Ohio, are already paramedic certified. They're doing that because they obviously have the desire and they know what they want to do, which is become a firefighter. And having a paramedic certification is a requirement in most places. So there's a good chance that in the future we're going to continue hiring people that are paramedics anyway. It's not guaranteed, but good chance.
Okay.
We will be utilizing a skill that they have already obtained.
Yeah.
We are not changing our standard to hiring paramedics only or paramedic firefighters. We're simply utilizing a skill that they are already trained in.
Yeah, I understand
Okay.
that. I was just making sure that somebody ALS was going to be on that A, B, C, or shift.
Right. Also understand this Life Pack 15 takes the place of your automatic defibrillator. So whether you're a paramedic or an EMT, you will still use this piece of equipment in the event of a cardiac arrest.
And because of that, since he brought that up, because we have an AED on every apparatus, so since it has that capability, that AED coming off that apparatus, we will most likely transfer to the police department, give them a newer AED than what they're currently carrying. So it's going to stay here in the city.
And our pads are all interchangeable. So if a police officer showed up, used their AED, their pads simply unplug and plug into the Life Pack 15, and it all works. Likewise, if Greenville Township shows up, you unplug it, plug it into their machine, it all works. It's all compatible.
Great.
I think it's a good idea. I think legislation should be prepared and.
I'm good.
With everything I've been through the last couple of months, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
And what
No
believe
doubt.
we don't want to use it on you, but.
I don't
You
want to
mentioned
either.
60-some calls that Greenville Fire responded to, like, is it considered mutual aid or whatever at this point?
With what we're doing,
Yeah,
no, it's not, I don't consider it mutual aid. We're in our own jurisdiction. The city of Greenville is our jurisdiction. We're just not the primary EMS care provider. Greenville Township is.
right.
So what we have found in our discussions over the last couple of years is we continue to improve our working relationships and provide our services to the community collectively. Is that how many times have they had cardiac arrest? We can have a cardiac arrest on Water Street right behind us, and 2-3 years ago, we would never be dispatched to that. They would be, where we recognize that. Sometimes we're gonna beat them, sometimes they're gonna beat us. The most important thing is for somebody to get there and start care, CPR, whatever that case is. And that's
You had mentioned 60-some calls. Is that-
61 is what we've done so far. Where last year
I think it's
was
wonderful. I
like
do.
23. And when we get some consistency, because like I said, we don't go to every cardiac arrest. There's a lot of latitude right now with how we're dispatched at the county. But when we go, when we don't go. So as we gain consistency with all the dispatchers over in Dark County, when we should be dispatched with rescue, that's why I said we expect those numbers to increase next year.
Great, thank you.
I think I need to point this out, and probably not for members of council here, but you see something very interesting happening. These two gentlemen are standing side by side, the township and the Greenville Fire Department, and I think that speaks volumes of what is going on. and how
Great
they
thing, let him talk.
work
Yes,
together.
has anyone got any questions of Chief Phillips?
Pardon? Good.
Does anyone have any specific questions from the township side of this?
Group hug,
What's that?
group hug.
Fantastic. Not that close.
Behind closed doors. We talked about a beer.
Sure did that.
Yeah.
I'll let him kiss you on the lips, Brian.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, if there's no objections from any member of this council, and if you want to object, I guess silently to the safety service director or the mayor or the law director, who's going to be preparing the legislation, speak now or forever hold your peace, because I think this is a good opportunity to do
Great.
something that, again, works for our citizens. And I often talk about community, and I don't mean just, and I know we're bounded by the confines of the city limits, our department, but when it's all said and done, we're all working together, and I think that's the neatest part of it, so thank you very much. So we can proceed with that and work with whomever you need to work with.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it very much. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move the agenda and go on to administrative reports. Mayor Wilmuth.
Thank you. I would like to chime in on that. I think it's a really wonderful deal that these guys have been having some communication and spent a good while talking about it and figuring out how to work this out in a cooperative effort. It's pretty cool to see. So thank you guys again. So it's pretty good. I got a few announcements. Try to hurry through them. If anybody has noticed, the Second Speedway gas station lot is been cleaned up, per se. Hopefully they'll get it all done here shortly. So where that leads us, I don't know, except for some better-looking lots that they've left in the past. But, well, I'm sure that down the road we'll continue some talks. I kind of always wanted them to donate that to the parks or something. So we'll, I'm sure we'll have more conversation as time goes along. So anyway, it looks 100% or more better than what it did. So it's pretty cool. Of course, again, for probably the third time I brought up, Holiday Horse Parade for Greenville is coming up. It's on the 23rd, Saturday, and it's at 7 p.m. And also, Roamers, as always, will have a buffet before the parade, and that's from 4 to 6. Yolo Park, they're going to have the Holiday Bazaar like they did in the past, except it's a little bit bigger and better since the park has been finished. They're going to feature some food, going to cook some winter's meats, and be some other games, I think, to play. And I believe that Santa's going to make an appearance on that bazaar at the YOLO. So it's going to be a fun time. Don't forget that coming up this another weekend is the Black Friday, and then Cyber Monday will be coming up. Well, in between that is nationally is Small Business Saturday. So want to make sure that everybody has a chance, and don't forget to shop locally at your small businesses, particularly here in town. They'll be open from 10 to 4 p.m. And there'll be several things going on, gift certificates, there'll be different things, giveaways. I need to check with the Main Street Greenville office and Visitors Bureau office for what's going on that day. But one of the things I know is going to be a fun time for a lot of people is there'll be, for a couple hours, noon to 2, will be free horse carriage rides around Greenville. So looks like a lot of stuff coming up before the holidays. So,
Mr. Mayor,
yeah.
did you say when the bazaar was going to be?
The bazaar is on the Saturday. I don't know if I did or not. Saturday is of the parade,
Okay.
during the parade, and that's from 5 to 9. I may have missed that, so 5 to 9 during the parade
At Yolo Park.
at the Yolo Park. Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot. I pass.
Okay, thank you, sir. Safety Service Director, Mr. Garrison.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Only two items this evening for council. The first item I would like you to consider, Thursday, our splash pad will be delivered. We'll be storing that in the South Park garage until the weather breaks next year, and then that company will be coming and doing the installation. Along with that splash pad, as a part of the design, we have incorporated 4 what we're going to call sunshades. These are 12 by 12 structures. It's 8-inch steel column that will come out of a foundation, out of the ground. It'll cantilever out, and then these shades will go atop that, and then picnic tables, and those will be in various areas around the splash pad, and this goes with the integral design that we've planned. Again, this is all part of the grant, and then the monies that's coming from Wayne Healthcare. The sunshades, 4 of those, is going to cost $14,090. I'll need council's approval to move forward with legislation to make that purchase, and we're just moving along with the project, and we're purchasing those ourselves. We'll install those ourselves. But just need council's approval to be able to do that as part of the project. Any objection with that legislation?
Does that come out of this year's or next year's appropriation?
It would come out of this year's, and I believe you auditor appropriated a little extra money when we did the monies for the splash pad. It didn't exactly zero out, but if there's money that needs to be appropriated, we'll request that legislation along with the legislation for a contract.
That work?
And then the second item I have for you, the mayor, myself, Ryan Delk, we had the opportunity on Friday to see a demonstration from a company that came to town out of Hamilton. The name of their company is Precision Concrete Cutting. And you can see the cut for yourself. It is out in front of our main park on East Main Street, just east of the Main Street Bridge. And you will see a manhole where there's a slab of concrete that's somewhat raised. There's a manhole in that slab, and then there's an adjacent slab that there was a 2-inch deviation between slabs. And this company came in, and a 2-inch cut is the maximum that they will do. And they were able to come in with a concrete grinder, and they shaved a nice angle, and they brought that obstruction, basically they eliminated that obstruction. And there obviously is a little bit of a ramp there, but that is one of the ways that we have talked about as a city for property owners to remedy some of their sidewalk issues. However, and I can fully understand from an economical standpoint how they run their business. This particular company, and I'm assuming that many more, doesn't necessarily want to come to Greenville for one cut here and one cut there. They want multiple cuts, and they really want to be able to work for the municipality. So I don't want to get into the whole sidewalk conversation this evening, but I'd like to maybe plant some seeds for you to think about. One of the objections with the sidewalk program and removing slabs was the fact that we were suggesting that certain trees would be removed because the tree roots caused that deviation. If we came in and we were able to utilize a system like I've just talked about, we could eliminate the obstruction, the tree could remain, there would be no sidewalk replacement. A cut at its maximum, so at a maximum 2-inch cut for a 4-foot or 5-foot wide sidewalk, we're looking around $80 a cut or a slice. So you could, we could do, 100 cuts for $8,000. It sounds like a lot, but, a lot of the obstructions that we have are these minor 1-inch, I think we said anything greater than 3/4 of an inch we were going to mark. And that made up a lot of the sidewalks that we have marked throughout the particular area that we've discussed. One of the suggestions might be, and one of the other objections was, how could the city help property owners out? Where was the city going to take any responsibility in some of these repairs? And I don't know, and again, it's something for discussion to throw out for a later date. Would the city be interested in taking the particular area in question? This company's willing to come in and do a free evaluation, their own evaluation, and they're not going to do the pictures and all that Choice One did, but they'll determine where cuts can be made. They'll tally them up, and they'll give us a proposal. And could that proposal be made part of our CIP? And that, maybe it doesn't help everyone, but it would take care of a lot of the problems in fixing our sidewalks. Or, we would suggest to property owners, if you have anything within these parameters, let them go. Let the city do this process whenever it determines that it's necessary, and then those fees could be assessed to the property owner. Obviously, it's a lot less expensive than tearing out and replacing sidewalks and potentially saving a lot of our larger trees here in the community. So was really excited to see that. It was a neat process. It is definitely a young man's job, or a young woman's job. In the next case, the young lady came along and helped out. It took a lot of finesse, and there's definitely an art to it. Anyways, I present that to you for food for thought, and keep in mind that $80 a cut, and I believe it's a process that we could utilize in the future. So with that, Mr. Council President, if there's no other questions, I will pass.
Okay, thank you. Good job. Law Director, Mr. Brand,
I'll pass.
and City Auditor, Mrs. Wellman.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I have a couple of items to bring forward tonight. First of all, several months ago, I advised you that we were looking into an investment company to manage the city's investments. We surveyed municipalities statewide and met with firms that were most highly recommended through that process. We decided on Meter Investment Management out of Columbus, Ohio, and are bringing legislation to you tonight to contract with that firm. After January 1st, we will start the process of right-sizing the city's investments so as to take advantage of some longer-term investments with higher yields, of course, all within the state auditor guidelines. Also, while taking advantage of while also maintaining a strong presence in our local banks, because we don't want to remove everything from the local banks, because I think they depend fairly heavily on us as well. So, like I said, we're bringing legislation forward tonight on that. Also wanted to let you know, and this is strictly because the state auditor requires us to do so, we deposited fire claim proceeds into Greenville National Bank for two accounts where we had fires, one at 102 Front Street and one at 101 Dover. And basically, we hold the funds for that, for those individuals until they bring the property up to code again, and then once it's been approved, the monies are released to the recipients. So just wanted to let you know that we did open up two escrow accounts recently. And finally, in order to get the Wagner Avenue project moving forward, we met last week with several of the council members and came up with a compromise whereby the city will be, the city's portion of that loan was to be amortized over a 30-year period. And it, again, is an interest-free loan. And I believe you've all received copies of that amortization schedule. So, and once the loan is in place, we will pay our portion, the city's portion, every year for the next 30 years. So, and unless anybody has any questions, I will pass. Oh, one other item. One other item. Does everybody need a reminder tomorrow at noon that we are having a meeting at 6:30 tomorrow night for the committee of the whole, or will tonight be sufficient for notifying you?
I'm good.
Are you good?
I wrote it down.
Okay, very good.
I'll let you know tomorrow.
Okay, okay.
6:30, right?
6:30. So that's your notice. And with that, I pass.
Okay, thank you. We have no committee reports this evening, and we'll move on to ordinances and resolutions. First will be a resolution to accept bids for authorizing a safety service director to enter into contract with L.J. DeWeese Company for downtown sidewalk improvement project.
A resolution accepting the bid for and authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with L.J. DeWeese Co. Inc. for the downtown sidewalk improvements project.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title, second and third time. Discussion? Call the roll.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Cuddy Shell.
Yes.
Did you read the summary? I forgot. I'm sorry. I got ahead of you. The summary of the thing.
This resolution accepts the bid and authorizes the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with LJ DeWeese Co. Inc. for the sidewalk improvements project. A resolution accepting the bid for and authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with LJ DeWeese Co. Inc. for the downtown sidewalk improvements project. A resolution accepting the bid for and authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with LJ DeWeese Co. Inc. for the downtown sidewalk improvements project.
Move to approve the resolution or adopt the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion?
Yeah, I got a question for Mr. Garrison. I did ask him some questions about this project downtown, and $321,190 was for the stamped concrete, right?
Correct.
Okay. It was a month ago, I seen the water department was up there doing some stuff where the water valves are, because there's water lines and electrical lines underneath that, right? The paved.
Correct.
The pavers are now?
Correct.
All right, what are they gonna do when they have issues with the water valves in the stamped concrete? How are they gonna match that back up?
Right. The mix or the colorant that we're using, can I tell you 100% that that's going to be, that exact same color is going to be available for the next 20 years every time a repair has to be made? Probably not, but the existing is going to weather. We're going to seal it. There may be some color variations as repairs are going to need to be made. We are using a very basic stamped pattern. The pattern will be control joints. I believe, I can't tell you exactly per spec how many feet, but the cuts can be made on control joints and repairs can be made. So.
Do they have issues with any of the valves they just need to replace downtown before they do this project? Kind of like what we do for streets?
You know, I can only think of the one building right now that may need water in the future that does not have water right now that will need an additional service, but that's going to also require tearing up the new street that we're going to pave next year at some point. The water valves, I don't know that they need to be replaced, but the valve boxes need to be adjusted. That's one of the issues that we have right now with the valve boxes maybe being an inch or two above the grade of the current pavers. Not sure how that's happened over time, but it has. With this new process, the boxes will be set to grade in the concrete, similar to if a valve box would happen to be in a sidewalk in a neighborhood or a residential area.
Okay.
Further questions or discussion?
Kurt, at one time, we had talked about putting conduit in for the speaker wires downtown. Is that still a go, or?
I would tell you with where we were at on the budget and the various projects that we had going on, we did not bid that as an alternate. However, the bid came in at $417,000. I believe we're somewhere around 30 to 40,000 under what the engineer's estimate was. Now, does that mean that we have money to go spend? Not necessarily. If it is something that this council would wish that I take a look at and get a price on, I'd be more than happy to do that, and we could add that as a change order to the project if that was council wishes. I know that the Main Street organization and some other folks downtown have also talked about installing a separate conduit for electric to do uplighting on all of the trees. I'd be more than happy to get prices on that, and as we have things opened up, maybe that's something our street department could put in the ground, and then the contractor could put the concrete on top of it.
Time to do it, right?
Obviously, if we don't do it now, it most likely is not going to happen.
I just thought it would clean up the wiring.
Sure. Is that something you would like me to take a look at?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that kind of the general consensus of the council here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Just come
No
up with
problem.
some suggestions.
We don't do it now, forget it.
I like
right?
the idea of the uplighting. I think that would be very nice.
Okay, further discussion? We have a motion to adopt, correct?
Yes, Mayor Rogers?
No further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Patty Shell.
Yes.
Next, we have an ordinance amending an investment policy, or amending the investment policy of the city of Greenville.
An ordinance amending the investment policy of the city of Greenville. This ordinance amends the current investment policy of the city of Greenville.
Move to suspend the rules and give this ordinance reading for second and third time by title only.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title, second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Patty Shell.
Yes.
An ordinance amending the investment policy of the city of Greenville. An ordinance amending the investment policy of the city of Greenville.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Mrs. Howdy to adopt the ordinance. Discussion.
Toss.
Huh?
You won the toss.
Call the roll, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Patty Shell.
Yes.
And next, we have a resolution authorizing entry into contract with Meter Investment Services.
A resolution authorizing entry into a contract with Meter Investment Services. This resolution authorizes the entry into contract with Meter Investment Services for the purpose of providing investment management services for the city.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title, second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Patty Shell.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing entry into a contract with Meter Investment Services. A resolution authorizing entry into a contract with Meter Investment Services.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to adopt the resolution. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Patty Shell.
Yes.
And next, we have a supplemental appropriations ordinance.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Greenville, state of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2019. This supplemental ordinance allows for appropriation in the general fund for travel and education, police department, in the amount of $2,666. These funds will be used for training expenses for 2 new sergeants and represent a fund received on a canceled conference. Downtown Christmas lights, miscellaneous street, in the amount of $542.11. These funds will be used for Christmas lights and represent a refund received on defective lighting. Healthcare premiums, sewage disposal, in the amount of $12,475. These funds are needed to cover healthcare premiums through year end. Utilities park, in the amount of $2,950. These funds are needed to cover park utilities through year end.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this supplemental ordinance and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title, second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Patty Shell.
Yes.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Greenville, state of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2019. An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Greenville, state of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2019.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Mrs. Howdy to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Patty Shell.
Yes.
And finally, we have transfer ordinance.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the city of Greenville. This transfer ordinance authorizes transfers in the following funds. General Fund, $400 from Travel and Education Police Department, Professional Services Police Department. This transfer is needed to cover professional services for new dispatch hires.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this ordinance and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title second, third time. Discussion? Call the roll.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Howdy Shell.
Yes.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the city of Greenville. An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the city of Greenville.
Move to adopt the ordinance?
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the ordinance. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Howdy Shell.
Yes.
Okey-dokey. Send those over there, please. Appreciate that. Okay, that concludes all of our ordinances and resolutions. Moving on to item under old business. According to council rule, any tabled items goes automatically to item under old business. So we have, under old business, a resolution declaring necessity for assessment Wagner Avenue Improvements Project, and was given its third reading by title, and then it was tabled. So the next order of business would be to lift this from the table if you so choose.
Motion to lift it from the table.
Motion by Mr. Hensley to lift this from the table. Discussion? Call the roll.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Howdy Shell.
Yes.
Okay, now the motion was, I think moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt. Is there further discussion?
Yeah, as part of the discussion, I'd like to, we've been given a paper of the amortization schedule of what the city would pay each year towards the project, which is their share that would actually be paid out over time anyway. This was part of a meeting that me and councilperson Godwin had with the administration. I think it is very, very reasonable. You look at it, I think it's very doable. And I'd like to make this part of that resolution, or that we amend the resolution to include this.
Okay. So now we have a motion by Mr. Henley to amend the resolution to include this amortization schedule as part of the package. Further discussion on that issue to amend. Call the roll, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Howdy Shell.
Yes.
Okay, now we have an amended motion on the table, and it has been moved to adopt the amended motion. Discussion? No further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Howdy Shell.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, moving on, no items of old business. Communications, we forgot the communications. You have communications.
We received the monthly reports of October from the fire department, public transportation, the street department, and the police department.
And, seeing nothing further, we'll call down the council, please.
Schmidt,
I will pass.
Whitaker,
Yeah, a couple things. I was at the Dark County Visitors Bureau meeting this morning, and something very interesting was brought up. A report here, I just wanted to dig it out and mention it. All three of the hotels in Greenville in the past year have been improved to a tune of $1.5 million. And as a result, one of the things that Mayor Willman brought up last week was the fact that Main Street Greenville put together a package for the horse parade. And she had 20 takers for that booked rooms to the new Baymont and bought that package. And it's resulting in more bed tax, and these rooms have been improved a lot. And the Baymont being redone spurred the other two to make improvements. And that's the kind of thing that's going to happen a lot here in Greenville as we make improvements. It's going to spur more improvement. So I just wanted to mention that, and good job to Main Street Greenville for proposing that package and offering up to people coming in to Greenville for the horse parade. And I think you're going to see more of that coming up. Want to thank everyone for coming out, and I look forward to improvements in the future. Thank you. With that, I pass.
Godwin,
Make a motion to excuse the absences for this month.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to excuse the absence for the month of November. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Cotty Shell.
Yes.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and with that, I'll pass.
Hensley,
I'd like to thank the administration for working with us to get this amortization schedule, and special thanks to the auditor. She did a great job. And also to Mike Bowers, who kind of planted the seed to this amortization through a couple of discussions I had with him. And with that, I will pass.
Rogers,
Yes, Saturday, there was a new business that held an open house. It's in the old Family Bazaar building on Martin Street, and it's called Right Time. And it's owned by two ladies that their last name is Wright. So anyway, I know these two ladies very well, and I hope that they do great in business. They have quite a few things going, not only in sales, but also they're going to do massages and things like that in that building also. So they've really revamped that building and make it look nice. So if you get a chance, why, go take a look at it. And with that, I pass.
Cotty Shell,
I like looking out and seeing the young people back there. That's cool. Thank you guys for attending. And with that, I pass.
President Burkett.
Just wanted to mention, I didn't know either. We asked them where they were from. The students back here are from a government class in Tribe Village, and they're here to observe.
Wow.
So I don't know if they wanted me to say anything about it, but hey, we appreciate you being here, so.
Yes,
Thanks.
we'll note that in the minutes that those students from Tri-Village were here.
I think we should take roll.
And I know Mr. Beard personally, and I will make sure that he knows you were here.
Great. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Okay, things are going to happen fast. You know, we're on the backside of the month of November, and December will go pretty much in a heartbeat. And we're looking at a new year already, 2020. Who would have ever thought? But on a little more serious and sad note, I'd like to extend the condolences to the Jim Henby family. Mr. Henby was a former income tax administrator for the city of Greenville. I can't exactly tell you when, but several years ago. I know he was very active with the National Guard at one time and had several positions. He was the past master of the Greenville Masonic Lodge. And so, again, condolences to the Henby family on Jim's passing. we just, not only do you lose a good friend, but you lose a lot of experience, and we're experiencing that more all the time, it seems, so. I'd like to thank you all for coming, and enjoy the weekend, and enjoy the upcoming Thanksgiving. Wish everyone a really healthy and happy and safe Thanksgiving time. And as I said, we're going to get into Christmas here real quick. So with that, I'd entertain the motion to.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Havishaw to adjourn. Call the roll, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Addishell.
Yes.
Thank you all. Good night. Gentlemen, thanks for coming up. Yeah.
Extra credit for those guys.